right, good morning, everybody. Let's get this call kicked off. Welcome to the Friday morning Menefee Better Known Agency team calls. Glad to have you all on. Looks like we got some people arriving late, jumping on here, but it's time to go. We're going to get this thing kicked off. So go over leaderboards this morning. We'll go over the weekend, and since we had kind of a special call last week with the Pogue Agency, I'll go ahead and cover last month's leaderboards here briefly. Top five. In fact, let's just go ahead and knock those out real quick. Top five for month of August. Actually, I'm going to do top six because number 5 and 6 were almost tied, and I want to give a shout out. Number 6 was Tasia Freda. Tasia was actually a new rider last month and wrote $10,006 in new business her first month. And the really cool thing is, as I was looking at the reports, the issue paid reports, she had 100% issue paid in her first month. So not only number 6 on the team, but 100% issue paid. That is a great start in this business. So hats off. Part of the Stella Dinwiddie team. We had number 5, Diane Newman, had 11 applications for $10,745. Lionel Anderson had 17 applications, $13,896. Stella Dinwiddie had 21 applications, $15,418. Mr. Spencer Cushion, 16 applications, $27,033. Awesome month. And the number 1 for the month of August, Mr. John Paul Vetter, Mr. Elite Producer, with 31 apps, $40,291. Went out and crushed it. Great job, Mr. John Paul Vetter, showing that team how to do it. For this past week, leaderboards, we had top 10. Actually, let me hit first. We had a couple of brand new riders. So a shout out, congratulations to Andy McKinley. Wrote his first application last week, and Adrian Cantu had his first application. Andy McKinley direct to myself. Adrian direct to John Paul Vetter. So welcome, new riders. Congratulations. And we say all the time, if you can write 1, you can write 2. If you can write 2, then you have yourself a business started. So keep up that momentum, keep up that work, and keep pushing forward. Top 10 for the last week. Andy McKinley had 1 application, $831, direct to myself. Tasia Frater had 1 application, $900, direct to Stella Dinwiddie. James McKeon had 1 application, $1,176, direct to John Paul Vetter. Jenna Sawyer had 3 applications, $1,396, direct to myself. Adrian Cantu had 2 applications, $2,280, direct to John Paul Vetter. Mark Roberts, 2 applications, $2,545, direct to John Paul Vetter. Diane Newman, 4 applications, $2,572, direct to Spencer Cushion. Spencer himself had 2 applications, $3,802, direct to myself. Stella Dinwiddie, 2 applications, $3,914, direct to myself. And Mr. John Paul Vetter, again, leading from the front, 4 applications, $4,855, direct to myself. Congratulations on the week, guys. We actually had some late business turned in last week. So again, quick recap for those of you who are brand new. We pull leaderboards on Friday morning, typically around 8 to 9 o'clock Central Time. However, end of business day for the week is not until midnight Eastern on Friday. So we've had several people who have found Friday afternoon, Friday evening is a great time to go out and add business to your week. And so we want to acknowledge that because we don't capture that on the Friday morning leaderboard. So last Friday, after the cutoff, after our team call, but before the midnight cutoff for business, Donna Bates turned in an application for $201 APV. Stella added another application to her week of $585 APV. And Diane Newman had 3 applications for $1,309 added after the team call last week. So congratulations, all of you who finished out the week strong. Every application you can add obviously goes to improve that bottom line for you and help finish out the week strong. So Friday afternoons, guys, with this selling season we're in right now, and I say right now, but for the foreseeable future, this online selling, a lot of you guys are killing it and finding that Friday afternoon, Friday evening is a great time to be out in air quotes because nobody's out, be out on the computer writing business. So take advantage of that. Take advantage of those opportunities to fit in business where you can fit it in. Guys, wanted to chat with you this morning on the call. Last Sunday, I was watching a YouTube video, like sometimes in my Sunday morning Bible study. I like to sometimes watch a YouTube video instead of reading something, and it just so happened to be John Maxwell. My good buddy, John Maxwell. And for those of you who didn't know, yes, John and I are very close. You can see us there at an event that he actually came and spoke for me. I'm joking, obviously. He actually came to our conference back, 2 years ago now? I'm losing track of time. But John came to speak at our conference and as always, delivered a phenomenal message. And anyway, I was watching a YouTube video last week, and some things that he said. Obviously, as you read or watch or listen to John Maxwell, there's a reason why he's one of the top leading authors, speakers, trainers on personal growth, on team growth, on developing leaders around you. And man, just had some great things that he was sharing. He was actually speaking to a church, but some of the things that he was sharing was just phenomenal. And a few of you who are on the call today were at that conference a couple years ago. A lot of you weren't. I will say that one of the big things that I took away from that conference, one of the statements. In fact, I heard him say it again in this YouTube video the other day. That everything worthwhile is uphill. In life, everything. Doesn't matter if it's personal, professional, financial, everything in life is uphill. And I think, and I'm going to dig into some other things that he said that are just so profound and impactful. But, as I was thinking about that, I wanted to share with you guys some thoughts this morning because, there's really only two fundamental reasons why somebody is either successful here or is not successful. And it's the same reason whether they win or fail. And I'll get to that here in a second, what those two reasons are. But when I came into this business 4.5, almost 5 years ago now, I think it's actually about 5 years ago, right this month, that I reached out to Scott Mank on his Craigslist ad and started up a conversation with him, started working through the process. But, I had, I came into this business a little bit behind in life, I felt like. I'd had some success. I'd owned a business. Coming into Symmetry immediately before, I actually was in what I considered a placeholder position. I was a regional sales rep for an exteriors company doing windows and siding sales. But I knew that wasn't my long-term vision. That was just kind of something to get the bills paid and get by for the time being, but it wasn't where I wanted to be. I had actually owned small businesses, actually decent-sized businesses in the past. In fact, one of my most successful businesses was actually a landscape company. And, the thing, I wanted to be in business again, but one of the things that I learned through that process is I didn't want to go through the traditional business model again. Because when I owned the landscape company, we did commercial mowing for power substations. I had to have commercial grade equipment for that. Each one of our machines was $10,000, and we had several of them. So my fuel bill, I remember writing checks. I wrote a check to a local company that we bought our fuel from, and they put us on a billing. not uncommon for write $10,000, $12,000 plus check just for the gasoline. So, guys, it gives you some perspective from a business standpoint. That's kind of why I have to chuckle a little bit and maybe prod a few of you on here when we talk about buying $250 or $350 worth of leads, and you guys kind of, choke a little bit and can't get past that. And anybody who's ever been in business, any traditional business, they've owned, and maybe it's not what I'm talking about with equipment, but had a storefront where, their check that they were cutting every week was $3,000 to $4,000 just for the rent before they even paid the expenses on that building. See, business is expensive, guys. And I wanted to be in business because I knew that's where freedom was. I knew that's where you could build something. Because if you're working for somebody else, you're building their dream, or you could build your own, but it takes investment. And when I came across Symmetry, the thing that struck me is like, I saw this for what it was day one. This was a business opportunity, but it was a business opportunity with the investment was just pennies for the amount of return that we can get. And so that's what brought me to Symmetry. I wanted to own a business again, but I did not want to go down the path where it was thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of startup cost, thousands of dollars a month of overhead, all the headaches of trying to manage and find people and have people quit and replace people and blah, blah, blah. That's a nightmare. I've been there, I've done that. Now, we've got a great team here, and there's a lot of people on the team, and we have people come in, we have some people leave. But here's the thing that's different about this is I'm not your boss, I'm not your manager for any money. I'm your coach, I'm your buddy, I'm your friend. I'm here to help you be successful, but I'm not here to tell you that you got to go be successful. You got to go do this. And so that's what that's the thing about this. And I kind of got on a little bit of a tangent there, but I want to get back to these two reasons of why and why people win or fail in this business. And you probably heard me on recent calls. I've brought this up before, and I'm kind of harping on it a little bit, but there's a reason why, because it's so simple, yet it's missed so often. People are missing the very simple fundamentals of what it takes to be successful in this business. And it's unfortunate because we get so caught up, I've got to be the subject matter expert. I've got to do this, I've got to do that. When in reality, you just got to follow through this process. So here's reason number one, why people win or don't win in this business. Let me pop up here a little screen, share this with you. Guys, the 4 cornerstones of success. If you find yourself struggling in this business, you've got to go back to this. It's a very simplistic document. And this is why it's missed, because it's so simple. People think it's got to be more complicated than this. There's got to be a reason why I'm not having the success I want to have. And it's got to be outside of this one page here, but it's not. I guarantee you. Now, we may have to dig into one of these 4 cornerstones, but I guarantee you it's hidden in there. And I'm not going to go through this in detail today. We've covered this a lot here recently, but I am going to, guys, we can't hear it enough. It's a good refresher. Number one, believe in what you're selling. Help yourself, help your friends, help your family. If you haven't done that, especially if you haven't helped yourself, you're going to be in a quagmire. It's just not going to happen. Help yourself, help your friends, help your family. Number 2, work and counsel. This is a simple system, but if you don't work, it's not going to work for you. Bottom line, period, in the story. And a lot of times, and again, this is something I've heard a lot lately, but man, it's a fundamental of this business. Talking about Casey Watkins, talking about you can outwork your deficiencies in this business. In other words, what you don't know, what you don't understand, what you're struggling with, what you're having trouble overcoming can be worked through if you put in massive action. You can outwork your ignorance. You can outwork your shortcomings. Okay. Number 3, ongoing commitment to self-improvement. This is a huge one. This is one that too many people try to shortcut. Think that I'll get to that later. I'll do personal development later. I'll read stuff later. I'm too busy right now. I got too many appointments. I got to try to jump on the phones. I got to try to set this or that. Guys, you got this is huge. You got to be part of this. And one I will highlight, and I'm seeing this too much, and that's plug into everything. And that means conference calls. If you're not hitting the conference calls, if you're not scheduling your appointments around the conference calls, not just this one today, but the Monday and Wednesday calls, the Monday sales call, the Wednesday call. Thursday now we have a bonus call that didn't used to be on the calendar, but is. Thursday is a national training call that's kind of more built around the telesales. Man, there's been some great materials been coming down the pipe in that call. You've got to be plugging into that stuff. Number 4, associate with the right people. And for right now, obviously, with this fiasco that we have going on in 2020 and not being able to have live meetings, that is a challenge. But guys, it doesn't mean you still can't plug in. You've got to plug in with your upline, your direct upline. Go plug into several layers up. If you're on Jeremiah's team or John Paul's team, connect with me. Connect with my mentor, Scott Manx. If you're in my base shop, connect with Scott Manx. Scott's a wealth of information. Reach out to Jacob Poe. Reach out to Marshall Whalen. You guys may not realize, if you've ever tried to call Marshall Whalen is one of the easiest people to talk to. He's not isolated, out there in his lake home in Georgia and not talking to anybody. He is one of the most plugged in people at his level in the business that I've ever been around. And he'll talk to you, reach out to him. But you've got to associate with people, and you can't be doing this business in a bubble. So if you find yourself, whether you're brand new or you've been in the business a while and you're kind of spinning your wheels, I would go back and I would look at each one of these 4 cornerstones and ask yourself, am I doing each one of these to the very best, or at least trying to the very best of my availability? And if I'm struggling, what am I doing to break out of that? What am I doing to try to grow in these areas? Okay, so 4 cornerstones. Here's reason number 2. And this is actually the biggest trap I see. Reason number 2 is simply make the decision. Make the decision. Guys, that is so simplistic, and I guarantee you that flew over too many heads. So I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say, make the decision. Because too many times when I'm talking with an agent, whether they be brand new or maybe been around for a while, I'll hear phrases like, we'll see how this goes. We'll see if this works. Or better yet, I really hope this works. I really want this to work. I really hope this works. Well, I've also got some magic dust and pixie dust that we could sprinkle on it, and maybe that would make it happen. I hope too. But my mind almost went to a different direction here. Let me, because I was about to say hope in one hand, but let's not go there. Let's just say hope is not a strategy. Wish is not a strategy. And that's where I want to get to the statement that John Maxwell made on this YouTube video the other day as he was speaking to his congregation. One that is a very powerful statement, because he actually referenced a book by Scott Peck. The title of the book, and you saw it on the title of the calls, is The Road Less Traveled. And I'm going to read this word for word, because the way this is written is very profound for our business. And this comes directly from the book. Life is difficult. This is a great truth, one of the greatest truths. It is a great truth because once we truly see this truth, we transcend it. Once we truly know life is difficult, once we truly understand and accept it, then life is no longer difficult, because once it is accepted, the fact that life is difficult no longer matters. And to kind of expound that, because it almost sounds like double talk, but there's another book that I read years ago author by the name of Eckhart Tolle, or Tolle, I'm not sure how you say his last name, Tolle, called The Power of Now. And that book is built around people and their emotional struggles and their mental struggles. And a lot of it comes from lack of accepting where they are and living in the past or trying to project out in the future. You're worrying about tomorrow or just depressed over what happened yesterday, when all we really have is today and right now. So this statement by Scott Peck, I'm going to reread it, and we're going to change life, and we're going to put symmetry in the insurance business. Symmetry is difficult. This is a great truth, one of the greatest truths. It is a great truth because once we truly see it, once we truly see this truth, we transcend it. Once we truly know that symmetry is difficult, once we truly understand and accept it, then symmetry no longer is difficult, because once we accept it, once it is accepted, the fact that symmetry is difficult no longer matters. Brian Pope, one of the owners, one of the founders of our company, a guy that's been in the business 30 plus years, a guy that before symmetry had already built a multi-million-dollar industry business in the industry, in the insurance industry, made a statement to this fact one day on a call a couple of years ago. He says, make the decision, just this simple, make the decision that this is what you're going to do, and then forget about it. In other words, we get so hung up in worrying about it, is it going to or will it work, that we miss, that we basically we create so much self-doubt, so much concern, that we cannot be effective in what we're doing. Because, and this is another statement that comes that John Maxwell made after reading this Scott Peck quote. He said, faith doesn't make life easier, it just makes you stronger. Everything you want and need but don't have is outside your comfort zone. See, this is why it's important, why you have to, this is one of the most simple reasons why people fail in this business, is because they just don't make the decision. They just don't make the commitment that this is what they're going to do. So faith doesn't mean that it's going to get easier for you. Faith doesn't mean that all of a sudden, the pieces start falling in. And again, going back to John Maxwell's statement, it doesn't make life easier. It just makes you stronger. Brandon Ellison, one of our founders, and I will never forget this, at the second conference I went to, sitting at the back, a room of about 1,000 people, which they were just blown away that we had that many people. Our last conference, we had about 4,000. Kind of gives you a perspective of that growth curve. But he made a statement to us. He said, if everyone in this room, 1,000 people he was talking to, he said, if every one of you in this room will just stick it out, just stay here for the next 10 years. He doesn't say become top producers. He didn't even say really become agency owners, although eventually that would happen. I think if you're putting in the activity on the 4 cornerstones. He really didn't say that you had to be the top level of the company. He said, if you just stay here, guys, how simple is that? Just stick it out. Just stay here for 10 years. Everyone in this room, 1,000 people, will all be multimillionaires. What kind of statement is that? But here's the funny thing, guys, and that happened about 4.5 years ago. I'm seeing those pieces start falling into place. Here I am, 4.5 years removed from that, almost 5 years now. So half of that 10-year window that he said, hey, just stick it out. And in the mail the other day, I get a letter a card from Quility talking about equity appreciation rights. And guys, I don't know what that's worth. It's not worth anything right now. It's a nice, very nicely printed card. So it's worth the price of the card. But at some point, that number on there, and they gave us some projections, that number becomes a lot of zeros behind it. And guess what? That was from last year. So we still have this year, we still have next year, we still have the year after, potentially beyond that, but at least for the next 3 years, each and every one of you on this call right now can tap into that. So going back to that statement that Brandon made, if you just stick it out, if you just stay here, I'm not asking you to become top producers. I'm not asking you to become elite producers. I'm not asking you to become the biggest agency in the company. I'm just saying, make the decision, make the commitment that this is what you're going to do, and you're going to keep doing it until you figure it out, especially if you are in the mud right now and your wheels are spinning and you just feel like you're sinking in quicksand. That's the most important time to make that decision. Everything you want and need, but don't have is outside your comfort zone. And the reason you don't have it is because you won't move out of your comfort zone. Again, coming from John Maxwell. Love what John Paul says, you get so attached to who you were or who you were in the past that you can't become more than what you've ever been.
Right. No, you're not just add a little color commentary there, Chris. Those are great points, and it's something that I share with my team. They hear me say that a lot, and I've shared that on other calls. You know, and it's true, unfortunately. And there may be some people on this call right now who fit this bill, but there are a lot of folks on this call who aren't going to let those things apply to them because they're committed to their success and what they want to accomplish, and their fight and their why is so much stronger than any excuses or their quit. And those are the folks that'll be successful. And the point is, most people will never become who they say they want to be. You can talk all you want to. Talk is cheap. Most people will never become who they say they want to be because they're just too comfortable with who they've been. It's too easy just to sit where I've been and not put myself in an area where I'm uncomfortable or struggle or face adversity and challenge. But no one has ever accomplished greatness from a position of comfort. Let's be clear about that. Okay. And so that's something you have to keep in mind, you know, and what you have to do literally is you have to decide what's important to you and what you want to accomplish and have the courage and the discipline and the focus to commit to that and not let anything keep you from accomplishing that goal or anyone, including yourself. And I say that sometimes and people, you know, don't necessarily think about that. Most people are their own worst enemy. You can't get out of your own way mentally. You'll find some excuse. You'll find some reason why this, and that, and the third. The world doesn't want to hear it. The world, nobody owes you anything. You attack this. You take advantage of it. It doesn't matter where you're from, whether you are born here, English is your first language, what religion, race, creed. No one cares. It doesn't matter. There are so many people throughout this organization who are tremendously successful with a variety of backgrounds and experiences. And the one common denominator amongst all of those individuals is they simply embrace the struggle, attack the opportunity, and wouldn't let anything stand in their way, period. And the point is, most people fail in whatever they attempt to accomplish, not due to any lack of talent or ability. They fail because of lack of commitment. Period. And some people just can't look in the mirror and accept that because it's too easy to point the finger at other things. Oh, it was the leads. It was the system. Oh, the customer no-showed me. Oh, nobody wanted to buy. Get over it. If nobody wanted to buy, none of us would be here. If the leads didn't work, none of us would be here. The leads might not work for you, but you can't wish it were easier. You have to wish you were better. And that's where you have to plug into the system and work with your mentor to increase your skill set. You have to set your goals so high of what you want to accomplish in life that you can't accomplish them with the person who you are today. You have to set those goals so high that you have to grow into the person that it takes to accomplish those goals. And that's where most people fail. And the beautiful thing about this opportunity is that with this, when writing the story of your life, don't let anyone else hold the pen. Everyone on this call has your own pen to write your own story. The question is, where are you going to do with that, and where are you going to be 6 months or a year or 2 years from now? I can tell you where I'm going to be. Everything I've done in this business, I've spoken to existence. I'll be at 120 by this time next year, and my focus is to be equity partner by the end of next year. Period. I said I was going to, Chris, when I came in, I said I was going to make agency owner with this company in less than a year. Did it. Top 10 in personal production in the entire company last year, in my first full year in this business. Did it. Elite top producer, elite producer. Did it. The difference is in your focus and commitment. I'm just not going to let anything stand in my way of accomplishing those goals, because I know what I want to accomplish. And I know what I have to do to get there, right? And what Chris mentioned about the equity appreciation rights, and I'm sorry I didn't mean to hijack the call, Chris, but I just think it's so relevant, because it's spot on with what you're saying. Is if you look at the equity appreciation rights that are being granted, if you don't know what that means, you need to talk to your mentor or one of the AOs on this call and figure that out, because that is a chunk of change. Let's just leave it at that. And this has nothing to do with you growing your agency, residual income, all the opportunity that this company presented when you first heard about it. That's gravy. The equity appreciation rights is on top of everything else. That's when the qualifying trigger event happens. That's go to your mailbox and have a payday that's more than most people have ever made their entire life from one bank deposit. And the point I'm making in that is this. Those of you that were on Jacob Pogue's call when we were on that last week, I heard him mention that I was blessed enough to have actually have qualified and received equity appreciation rights for 2019 in my first year. 2018, August was my first full month in this business. So from that point in August of 2018, I was able to grow and build my business and my agency to the extent in the very next year, my first full year in this business, to have qualified for equity appreciation rights. My point in saying is that don't tell me what can't be done while I'm doing it. Everyone on this call can do the same thing, because you're in a position right now at the beginning of September to literally put yourself in the same position to qualify for you and your family for those same equity appreciation rights for this next year, for 2021. If you think you're late to the game, get over it. You got 2 more years to qualify for this thing. And you can do it, because I did it in my first full year. So again, it's about what you focus on in your level of commitment and what you want to accomplish. And you have to believe it before you can achieve it, period. And it can be done. There are folks here doing it. The question is, why aren't you, right? And I know there's a tremendous learning curve for people in coming into this business. We all had it. I still have it. I'm still learning tons of information every day. I don't know everything about this business, but I know enough to have been successful and expedite my path to success as quickly as I can while I'm learning this business. You've heard me say before, this system and symmetry has allowed me to fly this plane while I'm building it. You got to jump in the driver's seat and mash the gas. So Chris, I'm sorry, I just want to add a little color commentary. You know how passionate I am about this conversation and subject and what this opportunity has meant to myself, and people on my team specifically hear me say these things on a regular. You know, and that's the difference. You got to believe it yourself. Once you get wired that way, there's not a damn thing that can stop you, period. It's inevitable. And you can see it in people. You can feel it. You got to get yourself to where you have that level of swagger and confidence in yourself. And some people don't always necessarily have it now, but I've seen people grow into that, and they're completely different people a year or 2 years or even 6 months from now, if they commit and they submit themselves to being mentored and changing their wiring of how they see the world. You wouldn't even recognize these people. And everybody on this call has that same opportunity.
Yeah, perfect. No, I appreciate you chipping in on that, John Paul, because that, yeah, I mean, we can't hear it enough from enough people. You know, and that, and again, it's so simple. I feel like I have to say it over and over again. It's so fundamentally simple that I think it just too many people in my big concern, my big fear, and honestly, my knowledge is everything that we've just said. Unfortunately, I would say at least half the call probably just is missing this entirely. But that's why I keep coming back and asking you, just whatever you're doing, just stop and think and listen to what we're saying. share kind of wrapping up here. As I was going over this, I found a quote that I had written down from Tony Robbins, and I don't even know where I heard this or where I came across it, but anyway, it just seemed to fit in. Tony Robbins said, "We dip into potential in either a big or a small way." And so much, that's the thing that I'm trying to leave the impression with you guys is, again, when I hear an agent, whether they're brand new or whether they've been in the business for a while, say to me, "Well, I hope this works out." If you hope this works out, I go ahead and give you the answer. It won't work out. Let's just go ahead and save ourselves both the time and save you the mental anguish. And let's just say it won't work out because you're hoping. It will work. Now, it may not work as quickly as you want it to. And I can tell you, here's another fundamental of this business. I've never been as far as I thought I should have been, personally. And John Paul sets it and he goes after and he gets it. But I always feel like I should be further along than where I should be, where I am, rather. It never seems to happen fast enough. It always seems to be we have more setbacks than I really want to have. It seems to be I make more missteps than I really want to. I feel like I shoot myself in the foot too many times. And guess what? That it's part of the process. I got bad news for you, that we all do that. I used to make this joke, and maybe we got enough new people on the call. I can go ahead and make it again or be new to you. If I got paid every time I made a mistake, I would own my own island and be flying to meetings in my own personal jet. Because I made a ton of them, and I still screwed up. But the one thing that I do right in this business, probably the only thing I do right in this business, is I don't quit. I took that message from Brandon 4.5 years ago, and he just said, just don't quit. Just don't quit. So if you're saying, well, I hope this works out, or we'll give this 90 days, or we'll give this a year, we'll give this any time frame, we've got a problem. We've got a problem right there, and we either need to address the problem and find out if we can get to the level of commitment, or just save yourself the time. That may be a little bit of a pucker moment for some of you who are recruiting and trying to get your team going, and I'm telling some of your people just to go ahead and quit and bail out now. But trust me, I'm saving you and them a whole lot of headache and heartache, because I guarantee you, if you're trying to drag somebody across the line and they're not committed to that race, you're trying to run a race by carrying a bunch of people on your back, and that ain't gonna fly.
Yeah, you have to be 100% committed to what you want to accomplish. There is no plan B for me, period. There's no plan B. Chris, I heard that from Chris. He said that when I first started, and that stuck with me, and that's absolutely my same commitment to this. There's no plan B. This is my forever. My flag is planted. I'm done. When I was looking for my next, I found my last. This is everything in my life, everything I've ever accomplished, my background, my resume, my experiences. All of that led me to the day I ran across the ad that Chris Menefee had on ZipRecruiter that day, and led me to where I am right now, period. And to your point, Chris, we all have mistakes. There's been plenty of things that I've done wrong, or mistakes that I've made that didn't allow me to accomplish things on a certain timeline that I would have liked to. But at the same time, it's not about how quickly you get to point A or point B. You can't compare your success or track record to anyone else on leaderboards, because you don't know the story behind how they got there. All the setbacks, adversities, challenges. You don't know those stories when you see people's names in lights. You got to run your own race, period. And the best way for you to avoid making mistakes is to work with your mentor and plug into your mentor, or if your mentor themselves are new, plug into the AO that can help you mitigate some of those same pitfalls and mistakes to expedite your path. Learn from our mistakes, right? So that's the benefit of this business as well, is because we all want you to be successful, because that's ultimately how all of us get to where we want to go. We've all got to throw oars in the water and row in the same direction. We don't want any anchors dragging us down, right? And certainly we want to make sure that we have folks that are all committed to the same accomplishment and same goal, because we can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself. Brandon said something, I think it was Brandon, the other day on the call that resonated and kind of fits right within, and if I got the name wrong, if it wasn't Brandon, I apologize, with what I just said. You know, when looking at leaderboards and other folks' success in this business, the biggest leaderboard is right in the mirror, period. It's about what you want to accomplish and what your goals are personally, and making sure that you're better tomorrow than you were today, and you're better all around as a person, as a husband, as a wife, as a father, as a mother, as a business partner, as a mentor, as a mentee, better today than you were yesterday. And if you stay committed to that, you will be successful with this business. Most people can't stick it out because they want instant gratification, and it's not how this works. It's not how it works. But the flip side of that is, if we told you that the ultimate goal is that the prize is $1 million a year for the rest of your life and your kids' life and your grandkids' lives, if you can only stick it out and for the next 3 years, you can make sure that you go out and you do X, Y, or Z. Let's say you've got to go out and you've got to dig ditches. The question is, would you do that if you knew that was the end goal? I mean, that's some pretty tough, hard work, right? I mean, but to ultimately know what the goal was, the difference is most people aren't willing to do it. It's not that it can't be done. They just aren't willing to do what it takes and make the sacrifices to accomplish it, because that's not comfortable. That's not easy work. The difference is you can have whatever you want if you're just committed to that goal long enough. In this business, it'll change your life. It's forever money. And that's the difference here. And I think some people have never been exposed to that. And some people don't understand that concept, so they don't believe it. They think it's not real. There's no way that's possible. Trust me. I see the bank account, the deposits that hit my bank account every day. It's more than possible. And I'm nowhere near what some of these people in this business have accomplished that have been here 5, 6, 8 years already. It's monopoly money. It's nuts. And that puts you in a position where you're not focused on bills, because you got more money than you know what to do with. Now you can focus on making an impact into your folks on your team, other folks around you, your clients, and also to people in your community, things that you want to do because you've got the financial freedom to be able to do that. My wife and I were just talking the other day about being able to be in a position where we can go and volunteer and spend a couple of days at Ronald McDonald House, say here in Atlanta, for the children that are experiencing cancer. We've done that before, but just to know that we can just take a day and just go spend over there, and because we're not worried about paying a light bill and a car bill, we're just going to go over there and spend the day committed to doing something for somebody else. That's when life gets different. Sorry, Chris, apologize.
No, all great things to add in. And guys, we've got something coming down the pipe that is going to be impactful for each and every one of you on the call. One of the things that's been a huge setback for us in 2020, and it's caused by COVID, but it's not COVID itself. It's actually the fact that we haven't been able to meet in person. That's been a real problem for us, because so much is gained from these meetings where we get to really dive deep into the system and to learn and to absorb it and to listen to some of the top producers, and not just listen to them for a short 15, 20, 30-minute call, but actually sit in on a class with them, be able to ask them questions. Great news, guys, and you've heard it announced the last couple of weeks. The fact this week, the Wayland Hierarchy has been working all week to get the final details nailed down on our conference coming up in October. Now, normally we do this conference live and in person, but hey, beautiful thing about the technology age that we live in is we have this platform. You're going to get the same great training, you get the same great input, you're going to hear the same great thoughts and speeches. The beautiful thing is you don't have to do anything, you don't even have to get off your couch. You can sit at home with a bowl of popcorn and just sit and listen and plug in. And guys, the thing about, for those of you who have joined us recently, we explain conference is a game changer in this business, because you are absorbing you're absorbing everything from the top performers in this company. Every speaker, every trainer is somebody who is performing at a high level, whether they're an agency owner or whether they're a top producer. So regardless of what you're wanting to get out of this business, whether it's better production for yourself or whether it's building a business or both, all of that will be in that event. So coming up in October, and I messed up and wrote my days down. Somebody may have to help me out. 22nd and 23rd, or 23rd, 24th. I can't remember what the 2 days are because I know they were kind of bouncing around a little bit on that.
It was 22nd and 23rd is what I wrote down from the call the other day.
I think you're right. Originally they said 23rd and 24th, but I think they backed it up today. So, but just you guys be on the lookout. That, again, they're working on the final details this week. So starting next week, we're going to get a lot of data coming down the pipe from the Whalen hierarchy about what's going on. Make sure you block out time. They're going to make that thing as easy to get to. It's going to be late afternoon, early evening, if I remember right. Again, just, be looking for the final details. But they're going to, for those of you who are working full time and can't get away from work, doing this on a part-time basis, they're going to work it around your schedule. We're going to be doing the afternoon, evening sessions. Make sure you block those days out, and it's obviously too far out to be setting appointments. That's not my point, but just get in the mindset that those 2 days, you will be there no matter what. Short of your own demise and you're going to the afterlife, you will be there. And you will be plugging into that event because it is transformational. Every conference that we've ever had, we've always said on an agency level, on a personal level, we've seen our numbers take a jump. And most of the time, it's a pretty significant jump. You're getting that much information out. So guys, put that in your mind, put that on your calendar the week of the October 23rd, 24th. Go ahead and block those out. Be ready to jump on as you get that information coming out. Guys, I want to leave a quote for you. I'm somebody that likes to read history, and this quote is one of my favorite of all time. It comes from Winston Churchill, and it's very relevant to our topic today. The quote is, never give in, never give in, never, 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 in nothing great or small, large or petty, never give in except the convictions of honor and good sense. Guys, don't give up. Just stay here. Stick it out until you figure it out. Not going to be easy. I'm not going to promise it's going to be easy. You're going to stub your toe. You're going to bloody your nose. Sorry. That's it. That's just what's going to happen. But if you will stick it out, you'll stick with this, plug in, go back to the 4 cornerstones, be honest with yourself, look yourself in the mirror. Am I doing each and every one of these to the very best of my ability? And if I'm struggling in any one area, am I plugging in to my mentor and to my upline to try to figure out what I can do to get better in that area? Guys, do that and make the decision. And trust me, you will look back at this moment as a watershed moment in your life. It will be a red letter day. Guys, I appreciate each and every one of you. Can't tell you how grateful I am to have each and every one of you on the team and on our teams collectively. Let's go out. Let's crush it. Let's have a great afternoon. Looking forward to a strong September. Guys, push hard. September gives you the momentum to hit October. October's a 5-week turn-in. Fourth quarter in insurance is always known as insurance selling season. October, November, December, some of the biggest months in insurance happen in those months. So gear up, put the activity in now, get used to it, and let's hit the end of the year running hard, guys. Thank you. Appreciate each and every one of you. Look forward to talking with you all soon individually.